Hi, welcome back to our next video on purchasing leads. In our last video, we spent some time talking about how to select the right lead vendor. I'm going to assume for this video that we've done that work and we've got our lead vendor picked out. And in today's video, I'm going to specifically talk to those of you that are purchasing annuity leads. I want to set up some proper expectations for this business model. And I want to give you a couple must-dos if you're going to add this into your marketing campaign. Some of you guys are going to plan on purchasing annuity leads, and that's going to be your sole gas tank for finding business. Some of you are using it to add to some other things that you're doing. But you better have the proper expectations, whichever level you're going at that. And I want to spend, again, some time on really just making sure your expectations are right for this venture. So when I first started buying annuity leads last fall, I interviewed a lot of companies and I bought leads from a handful of vendors. And I talked with a lot of the key people at those vendor places about what I should expect. And they all pretty much told me the same statistics. You might know some of these, but I bet you there's a couple that you may not have heard of. So, first of all, for every 10 leads that you buy, they told me that you should connect with 7 of those leads. Depending on your skill set, you should close 2 to 3 of those 7 leads that you talk to. Most people know that. And we'll get into the skill sets and the things that are required the things you got to do to really get a hold of 7 of the people. And we'll talk about some of the processes that you can put in place to increase your closing percentage. But there was a couple other statistics that really stood out to me that I had to dig in to get them. And that was this. For every lead you get, for every 3 people that you are going to close, the first one out of 3 of the leads that you're going to close is probably going to happen in the first 30 to 45 days. You know, they're hot to trot. Another third of your sales are going to come inside the first 90 days. And a third of those sales are going to come inside the next 6 months. And so it's not always immediate gratification. And so that tells me a couple things. Number one, you better get mentally and financially prepared for the long game, because it's not all going to happen overnight. And you need to understand that you need to make a budget for the long game and commit to that budget. You have to understand too that when you're making that budget, phase 1, the first couple months of doing this, you might be lucky to break even. Probably are going to be in a phase 2 before you see any profits, and you're probably going to be into phase 3, and by phase 3 I mean 5-6 months down the road before you're really seeing big profits. And so again, you got to mentally kind of prepare for the long game on this. It's not just an overnight process. I buy the leads and next month I'm gonna have made enough money to pay for the following month. Heck, it's annuity sales, right? It could be a couple months down the road before you're getting paid, even if you wrote the sale today. But make a budget. The next thing I strongly urge you to do is to develop some serious performance accounting. Be diabolical in tracking all of your results. My performance accounting, the things that I keep track of, is the number of leads that I get. Of those people, how many people do I connect with? How many of those people do I actually sit down with and have an appointment? How many of those people do I actually close? And then dollars spent and dollars made. Pretty simple, but I can't urge you enough to make that spreadsheet and track those and review those on a regular basis, because those are the stats that are going to tell you what you need to tweak in your processes, on top of whether or not you're making any money or not. Which kind of leads me into it. You have to have a great sales process if you're going to be able to close 30% of the annuity leads that you purchase. In my next video, we're going to really get into the weeds, and I'm going to really break down to you the what and the when of what we say when we call, what we write, and what we send them. And there is a huge conversion difference between doing those things the right way and not. And I'm not just talking about my experiences. I've spent a lot of time to talk with some of the highest producing annuity producers in the country that do most of their business through purchasing leads. And they've developed a lot of systems, and I've stolen from a lot of genius out there that I'm going to divulge to you in these next couple videos. Final note. Buying annuity leads, or just leads in general, is a great way to build your book. And it's a great thing to continually do down the road to add to your production. But in my opinion, if you're still purchasing leads, and that's your entire marketing system, you're still doing that 2 or 3 years down the road, you're doing something wrong. In my opinion, if somebody's got a CRM that they're using vigilantly to stay in front of all of these prospects and clients, if you're using a fact finder, and if you're able to cross-sell different products, then at some point you should have collected a database of clients and prospects that should either eliminate your lead cost or dramatically lower your lead cost. And so that's some of the things we're going to talk about in these next videos as well, is how to really maximize the dollars that we spend to get these names and phone numbers. That's it for today. Very much look forward to seeing you in our next video, where we're going to get into the good stuff and really break down the things that you need to do when you're working these leads. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.